Hello, my name is Jason, and welcome back to my book reviews. I apologize for the tardiness of this video. I was going to upload this much sooner than I am currently doing. I mislaid my webcam. Anyway, back to the subject. This week I want to talk about Greywalker by Kat Richardson. My normal genre of books is fantasy, and usually in the area of other worlds. If you've watched my videos, you know that I'm a fan of The Lord of the Rings, and yes, a lot of it is based in mythology from England, and if I remember right, Middle-earth is kind of modeled on China, that area of the world, but if you go back and read some of the prehistory and things of Middle-earth, you'll find out that it's very much not Earth. Anyway, that's my usual genre. So this is kind of outside my usual genre, but I do like paranormal. I do like ghosts and all that stuff. I don't like horror. I don't like that kind of stuff, but I do like paranormal. So this Greywalker is about Harper Blaine. She is a private eye, and she lives in Seattle, Washington. This isn't by any means the only PI series with ghosts and that kind of stuff, but it's the first one I started into. I'm actually reading another one called Ghost Detective, and I'll talk more about that when I'm finished. Anyway, Greywalker, that's what Blaine Harper is, or becomes. As I said, she's a PI. She was hired to investigate something. She was technically dead for 2 minutes. And when she recovered, she started seeing weird things. And it basically has become, or she has become what the supernatural community refers to as a Greywalker. Someone who kind of walks the dividing line between life and death. And as such, she has access to some abilities that normal people don't have. And even she has some abilities that those who live in that kind of gray area don't have. So one, she can see ghosts, and she finds out about vampires and other supernatural denizens of the world. So it's her still walking that fine line between the living and the dead, and what she does as a Greywalker, and how she finds out about her situation, and how she finds out about this new world she's been thrust into. She befriends some of the denizens of this unseen world, and makes enemies of others. She helps normal people still, but she also deals now with the supernatural. And it's kind of that juggling act between her being Harper Blaine, a normal person, and her being Harper Blaine, the Greywalker. Kind of one of those things where you can't help but know that, or the supernatural community can't help but get her involved, because she's the only one they can turn to for certain things, because of her ability to kind of be there between the living and the dead. So Kat Richardson, I really enjoyed this book, Greywalker. I got it originally because paperbackswap.com, I've mentioned it before. It's a good site. Originally, when I first joined paperbackswap.com, you could swap books, and it only cost you the postage to send a book to someone else. So when you go on, if you decide to become a member of paperbackswap.com, what you do is you go on and you post the books that you're trying to get rid of, basically. And if somebody wants those books, they go and they find the book and they request it from you. You then mail that book to the other person, and when it gets there, they mark down that they've received it, and you get a swap point. And you can use that swap point to swap for a book that you want. And you don't have to pay the postage on receiving the book. You pay postage on sending it. So if you swap a book, it goes out to somebody, you pay the postage, then you request a book from somebody, they pay the postage. So it kind of evens out as far as how much money you're putting into it. Originally, it didn't. That's all it cost. Now it's they want to get a subscription and things going, and I don't swap enough books to justify a subscription, and so it's now 50 cents basically per swap. You have to have the swap point, which, I mean, if I'm going to be paying 50 cents to swap it anyway, I shouldn't need the swap point. Anyway, when they were moving from the free system to the pay system, I thought this book looked interesting, so I requested it, I got it, and I'm really glad that I did. I have since collected 4 more books in the Grey Walker series, and I've read all but the latest one that I just received. So, like I said, I really do enjoy the Grey Walker series, and it does get into more depth as to why Harper Blaine, as opposed to everyone else who has this kind of near-death experience, why she became a Grey Walker and other people don't. It also delves more deeply into the politics of the various factions in this gray world, and what is kind of the driving impetus behind her being a Grey Walker. So it starts out with, pretty normal. She died. She now has these supernatural abilities. What does she do with them? And then it goes on from there, rounding her out as a character and fleshing out the other factions and other characters that exist in this supernatural world. So it's, in my opinion, it's well worth your time. It's a great book, and it definitely, one of the reasons that I don't like books that are set kind of in the real world is they could happen kind of thing. But this, I don't know. It's just that the paranormal has always intrigued me. I've always been interested in ghosts and that kind of stuff, and so I enjoy reading about them. It kind of in a real world setting. But anyway, if you want a book about kind of the paranormal and how it intersects with and interacts with the real world, this is a good book to give your attention to. So if you have questions or comments, please leave them down below, and like and subscribe as always, and we'll see you next time.